Here we go. All right. How are you guys today? Chef Vanda here, rawandwell. So today I'm doing a raw vegan live tabbouleh. Basically my base today is going to be cauliflower. You could do it with jicama, you could do it with kohlrabi, things like that. What was I thinking of? Anyway, anything that's the radish, you could do it with rutabaga, anything like that that's hearty enough that you could rice. So that's what I'm doing with the cauliflower today. But before I start, I want to put, again, a warning on this video that if you're detoxing and you're trying to heal, you definitely don't want to have cruciferous vegetables, and cauliflower is one of them. So I would go more towards the things that are less starchy, like a rutabaga or even a Japanese radish, you know, the long white radishes, and things like that, because cruciferous are a little bit harder for our digestive system to handle, and when you're detoxing, you don't want to put any extra work in your body. You want your body to concentrate on healing, so you need to put the right food. So again, you know, the best thing for healing is fruit, and then maybe some tender greens and some herbs, and then whatever else is part of your protocol. So there's many different protocols, but following, for example, Dr. Morse, he'll say all fruit and, you know, very little tender greens. We don't need a lot of protein. It takes our body some work to get through that. So, but if you're just using the raw lifestyle to stay stable and to be healthier, and using it kind of as a bridge even to detoxing, then this is, you know, something that I highly recommend. It's filling, and it sustains you because it gives you some carbohydrates as well. The cauliflower has some of that and some starch, not too heavy on the starch. But again, the cruciferous vegetables are a little harder for your body to handle. So I just wanted to give that little spiel, and I'll be giving it, you know, more and more and more anytime that I make something that I don't feel is conducive to detoxing and healing the body from whatever it is. So basically this is just for a regular raw lifestyle to be in a healthier lifestyle. So basically we'll start with the main ingredient, which is the cauliflower. I've already done a big head of it, and I have some in here already done, but what I do is I just take the cauliflower and I kind of break it the little sections. I kind of want it to stay all the same size, so we don't have some big cubes and some little cubes in your in the mixer, because you want it all to be the same size, so it all comes out the same size. So you want to make it easier for the machine. So I just kind of break it with my hand instead of, you know, doing something that's unsafe and picking up my paring knife in front of you guys. I'm a pro, and it takes years to get there to be able to be comfortable to work with your paring knife the way I do without hurting yourself. So I don't want any bad habits. That's for the advanced people. So those of you that have your own shortcuts in your kitchen, then go right ahead and do what you got to do. But for me, it's safer to use my hands, and as long as you know the anatomy of the vegetable or whatever it is that you're working with, then it's pretty easy to use your hands and break it up, especially with vegetables. So I've already used this, so I checked to make sure that the blade is working this time and not make any crazy mistakes. And you don't want to just turn this on. You want to put it on pulse, because when you pulse things, it gives the action and it kind of gives it a turn, because it makes the ingredients that are on top jump and then go towards the blade. Otherwise, the stuff that's sitting on the bottom, if you just turn it on high, the stuff that's sitting on the bottom is like water, and the stuff that's on top is not like, is, you know, the same size as the bottom, and it's bigger, so the consistency, and it's too watery. So it's best to pulse things like this. So you do the pulsing motion. It's kind of like when you're sauteing something on the stove. Sauteing means jumping. So pulsing is the same thing. You're jumping all these ingredients, and they all stay the same size, as you can see. And sometimes I like to do the first batch super small, and then do the second batch a little bit bigger, just to give it a little bit of a different texture. So I'm going to leave this a little bit bigger, and as you can see, the rice on this is a little bit bigger than the rice on this. You see that? Not by much, but just a little bit, and that's kind of what you want. But before I take this out, I want to make sure that there's no big pieces in here that are just really going to jump out. Sometimes like a big chunk gets stuck in there. And I would remove that and, you know, do it with my microplane. And that was the other thing. If you don't have a food processor, no worries. A lot of people that don't have a food processor have one of those old-fashioned triangle things that have different grating sizes on the sides. You could use that. Or you could use microplane that has the bigger teeth on it, not the small teeth. I actually used this yesterday to make my dog's food. I took the other half of this cauliflower that I just used. I used half of that to make a stir fry for them with some also grated carrots, etc. So it's totally fine when you're doing a small amount, and if you don't have a food processor, then it'll work just fine. So now I want to mix that up and make sure. Hi Yvette, how are you? Thanks for joining in. So I want to give it a mix so it's all there and it's all the same size, and everything I'm going to add to this bowl, I'm going to give it a quick mix. So you don't, if you wait until the end and you put all your ingredients on top here, what's going to happen is you're going to have to mix it a lot as you go. So my next ingredient is red onion. I've already done most of the red onion here, but I know I've showed you several times how to do this. But for small cubes, don't forget, cut it in half, but leave the butt end, which is the root end. Put it down on its flat side, and then take your knife and run it across several times. So the size you want your cubes to come out is how many times you have to. So I'm going to do it a lot of times and try to go down as even as possible. And then, now that it's sliced like this, right, now I'm going to go and do it this way from the root end. And you don't want to cut through the root end. You're leaving it there so your onion stays together until you get to the butt end of cutting. So now your onion is all together. You see that? It's all together. All the cuts are in there. And you're going to cut across, and you come out with these beautiful small cubes. You want to tuck your fingers in. Like I just sharpened my knives before I did this live. So they're super sharp. So if I cut myself, it'll be a quick cut. So make sure you keep your knives super sharp in the kitchen. because if you got a dull knife, you're putting more pressure onto the ingredient you're cutting. And what happens with that is if you do cut yourself, that's going to be a serious cut, and you're going to need stitches, and you're going to ruin the food that you just prepared, and you're not going to be able to enjoy it because you're at the emergency room. So always safety first. And then the root end, I'm going to cut to as close as I can to the root end, and then do the same little cuts over here, and cut this way. And all my ingredients are gonna be the same size. And look at that. All I have left is the root end. That's it. Everything else goes in the garbage. How amazing is that? So I must have came on at a wrong time. Not too many people on, but they'll get to watch it later. I only see a vet here today, unless I got people hiding from me and I don't see them. Alright, so I got all my onions. They're all done, nice and cubed, same size. I'm gonna dump that in. Those of you that are sensitive to red onion, you could use green onion. Remember, I always teach you to be frugal with your ingredients, and also, you know, to use your imagination. If you don't like red onion, then use white onion, use shallots, use green onions. You know, there's so many options. Or don't use any at all. You know your body, so you know what your body can handle. We love red onions. So, in the normal tabbouleh, sometimes they have onions, sometimes they don't, because there's so many different countries in the Middle East that use this recipe, and they kind of make it different in each region. So, we got our red onion, and now, ooh, got some stuck over here. Now I have a cucumber here. I already have some already cubed. So with the cucumber, another trick, if you cut it in, you know, several pieces, then you can actually then stand it up like this. Get closer so you could see. Nobody's seeing what I'm doing. So you got it standing up like this, and you're gonna cut across this way in whatever size you want your cubes to be. So I want them pretty small, but bigger, of course, than the riced cauliflower. And then I'm going to remove this piece so it sits on a flat edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing like I do with the onion and cut it this way and kind of hold it together in a little bundle. Like this bundle kind of fell apart a little bit, so you want to create a little claw with your holding hand, and then just take the knife and cut it this way. And then of course you're going to move up, but if you have your claw hand in place, what's going to happen is your nail is going to be in the way and you can't go any further. So you have to move it back as you go and still keep as tight of a bundle as you can, and as you go, put it back together a little bit. So you'll have all nice same size. And the ones that don't come out the same size, then you just kind of do it at the end, one by one, until you got all your cucumber done. Wipe your blade, and then you have this left. You're not going to waste that. You either eat it as you go, or, hi Sally, how are you, my Portuguese friend? I'm making tabbouleh today. You just joined in. So I'm making raw vegan tabbouleh. The base is cauliflower instead of using a grain, which is the traditional way. I'm making more of a salad kind of tabbouleh. So I'm going to put my cucumbers in there. I already have my cauliflower, so you might want to watch from the beginning so you get caught up at the end, but keep watching. And then I have the rest of my cucumber that I had already cubed. So that's going in there. And again, each layer gets a little stir, so we don't have to do all the work at the end. And these are little tricks that I tell you that save you time in the kitchen and a big mess, and everything comes out nice and even. Sometimes you wonder why in the restaurant theirs looks so nice and even, because they take these steps along the way, and also at the same time you're already, as it sits in the bowl and waits for the next ingredient, the flavors are all starting to mingle in there because they're all together when they were all separate. So the next is bell pepper. I have orange, red, and yellow here. I don't use green bell peppers. They're very hard to digest, and the reason why is because they're green. They're not ripe yet. If you leave a green pepper on the stem long enough, it'll turn one of these colors. It'll turn much darker and it will not stay green. So that's why a lot of people complain when they have green peppers, they get indigestion. Well, that's because it wasn't ripe, so it's not really food and you have to cook it to death. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I took the white pith out of that. There's no seeds left in here. And I'm just going to run the knife across this way and create little matchsticks with it, right? And then take all the matchsticks, and you want to make sure, you see the skin of the pepper, some people remove that for better digestion as well. So you would peel your pepper before you cut into it with a peeler. But it also, if you try to cut the pepper this way, it slips on you. So you want to make sure it's facing with the meat facing up, so it's easier for your knife to run through it and keep it all the same size. And then you're gonna do your claw motion, and you're gonna do the same thing I just did with the cucumber. And you get the same size little squares, as you can see right there. So I'm going to add that to the bowl. And then I'm going to put it with the rest of my ingredients, right? And what am I going to do next? Who wants to tell me? That's right, mix it. Give it a little mix, so we don't have to do all the work at the end. Okay, so that's that. Now over here, I have some parsley and some cilantro. You could do just parsley if you're sensitive to the cilantro and you don't like it. We love cilantro, as you know, if you've seen my lives before. I tell you all the time how much I love cilantro, so I use both. And the traditional way, they don't use cilantro. So this is tabbouleh my way. So I'm going to hold this until the end after I put the dressing in it, because I don't want to wilt the herbs, right? And because my dressing has some lemon in it, it'll be good for later when I put it in, that the dressing is already in everything else, so I don't have to mix it so much. And why it's good, because then you're bruising the herbs and you want them to stay as whole as possible. Hi Tara, How are you? Me too what? Me too, I missed it. I don't know. So I'll wait for your response, or we'll see. I'll see later what me too means. So my next step, I'm done with all my ingredients that are going there. I'm gonna make a quick dressing. In here I have 5 small limes and a lemon. Okay, you could use just lemon or just limes, or like I did, a combination. You could do orange, you could do grapefruit, whatever you want, as long as you have an acid in there, because we're making a dressing. So a dressing consists of an acid and then an oil and then flavorings like salt, garlic I'm using here, and I'm using a pepper from the garden. So this is a Thai pepper. We like spicy, but this is optional again. So I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to crush the pepper into the dressing so it becomes little flakes. I'm going to take my 4 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to grate it with my microplane right into the dressing. Give it a tap. Make sure you tap it, because things get lodged in here and you waste a lot of ingredients. So that's a little tip from the pros to you, straight to your kitchen. From my kitchen to your kitchen. You heard it here first. Okay. So I got 4 small cloves of garlic. So the acid is going to help kind of also, it's going to help digest the cauliflower and all the other ingredients a little bit, because it's an acid. So it kind of breaks down the cellular walls of the veggies that are in there. So, to make a dressing, remember I showed you, keep a wet, either a paper towel. I use rags in my kitchen, mostly paper towels, very rarely. So what you want to do with the dressing, you want to make this stable. Oh, and let's put a little bit of Himalayan pink salt. I'm going to put 3 little pinches, and I'm going to give this some flavor with some salt. And the salt you're going to do to taste. I just kind of know, because I do everything by eye. So I'm going to, again, I added something to the bowl, right? So what do? Mix. We're going to mix. Yes. Look at how pretty that looks already, with the different colors in there. The white and the green from the cucumber, and the red from the red onion, and then the tricolored peppers. It's going to be so beautiful, and it'll taste even better. Okay, so now what you do when you're making a dressing, what you want to do is you want to incorporate the acid with the oil. So usually if you use vinegar or acid with oil, even just water, the oil floats to the top, so it's never combined. It doesn't congeal. So that's what doing it, having the acid there already, and then very slowly drizzling into the acid right in the middle, and just keep mixing. So get closer and show them how slowly this is drizzling out of the bottle. You see? It's just a small drizzle, and why I like to keep one of these in my olive oil bottle. No fancy bottles here. And you're just gonna incorporate that until, and it'll tell you when it stops separating, that means it's incorporating and creating a dressing. So you could use this dressing for just a plain salad. Change my hand position so I don't get tired. Whoa! Lights out, everybody. Oh, cilantro. Good, you love it. Well, Tara, you know about the people that totally hate it probably, or maybe you don't know, but they're missing a taste bud and it tastes like soap to them. It's like appalling to them, where for us, we love it. So it's either love or hate kind of thing. There's some things like, I know that a lot of people have a sensitivity to saffron the same way. Hi, Roslyn. Is that oil? Yes, it is, my love. It's olive oil, organic, unfiltered, from Spain. Yes, ma'am, it is. And that's why if you watch the beginning of this video, if you're trying to detox or heal, this wouldn't be a recipe for you, because the base of this is cauliflower, which is a cruciferous, and when you're detoxing, you don't want to have something that makes your body work extra hard. So, that's why we're... Hi, Cindy, how are you? So, Cindy, we're making tabbouleh today, and the base of this tabbouleh is cauliflower, which is a cruciferous. So if you missed a lot of this video, when it's over, you could always go back to it and watch up to the point that you started. But I'm making a tabbouleh. So I just put about 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. And again, if you're not detoxing, this is a recipe for you. If you're detoxing, you could modify it and use something else as a base, like a jicama, which is super watery, or a Japanese radish, a white long radish, and you would omit the oil. But if you're detoxing, like I said, you shouldn't be having cauliflower, because it takes a little bit longer for your body to digest. But here in New York in the winter, I'll have stuff like this for dinner. But I had fruit all day. I started my day with my 32 ounces of lemon water, and then I moved on to some pineapple and orange juice, cold pressed, and then I had some melon with strawberries. Again, if you're detoxing, you want to have your strawberries first and then have your melon by itself, because you want to make things easy for your body, and you might also even want to start with just an orange juice or a grapefruit. Things that are easier to digest first, and then move towards your day with the heavier things. So then I had an apple, and then I had a pear, and then I had a banana with some dates, and now I'm preparing dinner. So that's what my day looked like today. So now that this is, see, everything is mixed in there, the oil isn't separated up on top. That's what you want it to look like. So everything came together. And now you want to, and I like to do half of my dressing. Let me bring this closer to me, even though my cameraman has been so accommodating. I'm going to bring this closer to me so I could give it a really good stir here. So you want to combine that really well to get a good even coating on this. And again, I like when I make things, I like to make way more than what we're going to eat, because then this will sit in your refrigerator the way I package it for like 3 days. So you can still have something to consume in your refrigerator. So all those smells from all the ingredients here, I could smell each one. So now at this time I'm gonna add my herbs, so my parsley and my cilantro to this, and I'm gonna give it, again, every ingredient you put in there, you want to give it a whirl first before you add your other ingredient, and that way you don't have to work so hard at the end to get it all pretty and all the ingredients in there. So there's some things you can add to this. You can add some olives, naturally fermented olives. You could add some capers, fermented capers. It's endless the things you could add to this. I mean, the regular recipe calls for tomatoes, and I do serve it with tomatoes, but I don't put the tomatoes in the mix because the tomatoes are going to make this deteriorate much faster, because the seeds and the tomatoes are going to release a lot of water into here, and it'll help decay it faster because this is real food. There's no preservatives in here. So you want it to last long without turning flavor. So this dressing is preserving it. But if I put the tomatoes in there, they would just release all that water because of the salt and the acid in there. So I like to add my tomatoes at the end. So today, how I'm going to serve this, for example, is I'm going to put some baby greens on the bottom of the plate, and then some tomatoes and maybe some olives, and then some fermented kimchi that I just made. I'll serve it with that, and that's about it on the tomatoes, and that'll be a meal right there. So I'll do a nice big amount of baby greens on the bottom. Ooh, you have a whole head of cauliflower. Yay, you could do it. And then whatever ingredients you have at home. I always have parsley and cilantro and green onions and things like that, especially in the growing season. I have all my fresh herbs. I just go outside and pick what I need for that meal, which is amazing. But right now, nothing's growing, so I have it at home stocked up in my refrigerator always. Parsley, cilantro, green onions. These are things that I'll be creating a list of things you should always have in your pantry and in your refrigerator for the raw lifestyle to make it easier for you. So, like all the ingredients that are in here except the cauliflower, I pretty much always have at home because they're always used for salads or, you know, whatever my dinner is going to be, unless I'm following just all fruit like I just got off of for 12 weeks of fruit, then hey, then I just have fruit at home and I don't need any of those greens or anything else. So a lot of people think, oh, it's so hard to do just fruit. No, that's the easiest one. You wash it and you go. I wash a melon, cut it in half and eat it with a spoon. Take the seeds out and eat it with a spoon. How much easier could it go? I take my apples, my bananas, my pears, whatever eating fruit for the day. I put it in my lunchbox and I walk away with it. How much easier could it get? If you got to juice, you got to juice it and you got to wash it and prepare the whole thing. Eating fruit has got to be the simplest and the best for us. So, now that we got all this together, and usually I taste in between. Hi, Jess! So I'm going to taste it for salt and everything else, see if I need to add any more acid or anything like that. Oh, wow. Yummy, yummy to the tummy. You guys can't wait to have dinner. So, voila. Here is my raw vegan tabbouleh. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me see. What does Tara have to say? You are so sweet to share your recipes with us. Thank you. I can't wait to try this. I have a whole head of cauliflower in my fridge too. Woohoo! That's 2 people that are having tabbouleh for dinner with me. Woohoo! How fun is that? And you guys, don't feel bad if you don't have all the ingredients. Like I said, use your favorite ingredients, cut them the same way, and do with what you got, and next time it'll be better because maybe you'll have more ingredients, but it'll also be different. It'll be different. How great is that? So be creative in the kitchen. Cindy, I agree, Tara. Okay, yes. Yes, very yummy. So yummy. So don't forget, I'll be serving this with some lettuce on the bottom. And I'll add some tomatoes and maybe some olives and some kimchi, which will help digest all this cauliflower. And that's what I'm having for dinner today. So I'm Chef Vanda, raw and well. Please follow my videos. And I'll see you soon.